Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode here on Purbeck Farm 22, the Britain's Farm Toy Series. We are, as you can see, doing a little bit of ploughing in the Volvo. And the Volvo is struggling with this plough for some reason. There's only 3 furrows. The tractor has got more than enough horsepower to pull this plough. But yet we, for some reason, are still struggling. I'm not sure why, but yeah. So this is the job after the tractor flattened the silage pit in the last episode. There is a little bit of a thing with that silage pit that I do need to maybe tell you or explain to you. If anyone else is using that pit or has used that pit and has had to get rid of it because they can't cover it, I think I know the reason why you can't cover it. I had exactly the same problem. So at the end of the last episode, we was watching this tractor, compact the pit down, and it had done, a relatively very good job, and it had sort of done what we'd asked it to do, which was great. I then finished it off camera. I decided that I'd have a go at doing it, for a little bit myself, and went to finish it off, finished it off, and then obviously went to cover it because obviously, we need the silage, and we need the silage quite quickly because obviously we need to feed the cows TMR to get milk and get their health up and everything else. And I couldn't cover it. I went in, I pressed R, and all R did was turn on the lights. So then I went into my controls and I tried to, change the key binding in the controls. No, the shed doesn't have its own key binding setting, so that didn't work. I then looked at the F1 menu. That didn't work. That just literally said that R just turned on and off the lights. And I could have cried because I kind of sort of thought, well, I've got 677,000 litres of chaff here, compacted chaff, that I now can't ferment. And to be fair, we need this silage ASAP for our cows, because although I did go and pick the food mixer up, and the shop was very, very kind in giving us a silage bale, well, 2 silage bales, to which we obviously used for TMR. And yeah, I then couldn't, as I say, I couldn't compact the pit, and that was going to leave me with a pretty big problem. It's a problem that I could have solved, but in order for the authenticity of this save game to carry on, I would have had to have done it off screen, because what I would have had to have done is use the Gal baler packer to basically bale and wrap it for me, because there would have been no other way that I could have done it. But I have found the reason why, and I have found out how you do it, and it was by pure chance, because I was about to sell it and delete it and cry and throw things at the TV. No, I'm not really. I'm not like that, but I was a bit annoyed. I have to admit that I'd put this silage pit in the on the map, and then all of a sudden, you've put all that silage in, and trust me, that grass took a long time to collect with that little collector, and then suddenly I can't, sort of ferment the silo. I honestly, I was proper annoyed, and I just happened to be. I'd been using the F1 menu to try and see if I could get it to come up in some way, or whether there was a switch I had to, to see whether there was something that I wasn't quite, sort of doing, because I was missing, sort of, you know, missing the point or whatever. And I just happened to walk accidentally. I was going around my tractor that was there, and I caught the wall on the left hand side as it faces out towards the field where we collected the grass from, and it said ferment silage pit or cover silo or something like that, whatever it says. I can't remember what it says, because normally, again, I don't do it like that. Normally I just do it with bales and then just stack the bales, you know, with auto tip, with auto load or whatever you call it, and just sort of stack them somewhere and then just take them as and when I need them. But I decided that I'd, you know, sort of try and do it so that, you know, we have interesting jobs to do, and, you know, etc, etc. And yeah, as I say, couldn't cover it, but anyway, we found out how to do it. And when I get to this end of the field, what I'll do is I'll quickly run over to the silo shed, because it is just the other side of those trees, it's not far away, and I will try and show you how I did it, so that if you are having the same issues, because I was there a very long time trying a whole different combination of different buttons and everything like that, so I just could not get it to go, but eventually we did. And I'll show you how I did it, just in case, as I say, someone else is having trouble with it. But yeah, otherwise, as you can see, we're doing a bit of ploughing. We are ploughing all the land. This is the last field, this is, of ploughing that I've got to do. I ploughed the big one off camera just because that took, with this plough and tractor, that took an absolute age to do that. The other thing with that field as well was it was on a slight hill. Oh, hang on, let's just turn the engine off, because that Volvo does use a lot of diesel. Yeah, so there is a hill in it, and I'll just come across here, go into the cow field. These trees here, I don't know whether I've already explained this, but these are all being cut down eventually, and what we're going to do is try and level off this ground if we can. So I'll have to sort of level it from the end we're looking at now, from the road, and then level it this way, I think, rather than sort of push the earth that way, which we could do, but we're going to end up with a mound on the other end. I suppose we could just then take the mound up, but Daisy's having a sleep, as you can see. So this is the straw bale that the shop kindly lent, or not lent, but that I bought off the shop for some TMR. I don't know whether I've got any in there still. Yeah, I have, yeah. So I used that bale, and one of our hay, or was it two of our hay? It might have been two of our hay bales, and that's the feed sorted for a little while. The water we've still got to do, so I've still got to do the water at some point. But I'll just quickly show you that this is why I came into here, because it does bring me right out. But so yeah, so basically spent, I don't know how long, going up and down looking for the trigger, and the trigger is actually here. So if you face the wall and like this and just keep walking forwards, eventually the trigger pops up. And I did also do it as a sort of an experiment. I mean, this is not beautifully well compacted. These big lumps that are kind of here, I sort of did those because what I did was I cleared the entrance. I cleared the entrance just so that it, you know, obviously we didn't lose any, but so it's not brilliantly well done. And if we were doing a big harvest, or if we were doing things proper, then I would have, you know, levelled it all out. But for this year it will do, you know, for this year it will do. We've got, as I say, the hay, which is just there. That looks suspiciously like grass, but I can assure you it is hay. And yeah, so we're filling the the feed troughs. I couldn't think what they were called with the TMR now, so that's good. I got the rest of the bales in as well. Another excuse me, another thing that I did off camera was I got the rest of the bales into storage, so that's a good job. They won't get wet at least. Yep, so that's about everything caught up really, and as I say, we're just doing a bit of ploughing. Once we get this ploughing finished, obviously then we can get on next month with getting some drilling done. I am going to come back and plough this bit. I didn't realise I'd left this bit, so I will come back and get that. But yeah, so hopefully next month we can get on with a little bit of drilling. So we've got rapeseed coming in this field. Normally you wouldn't plough in front of rapeseed. What you would normally do is drill it direct into the stubble, basically because the stalks offer a little bit of protection for the seed, because the pigeons do love canola seed, and you know, they will decimate a crop quite quickly once they realise there's something there worth eating. So normally you would drill it straight into the stubble, because these stalks that you can see, that doesn't really help if I get down. So the stalks that you can just, yeah, you can see them there. So they would offer cover for the seed. The seed would go in the grooves of the drill before, in the direction of the drill before. Although I didn't drill this field before. We've harvested this from what the game gave us. But so you would drill it that way, but I would have drilled it this way, the way I'm facing now, if it had been me that drilled it. But and then yeah, as I say, the stalks then offer cover for the seed just until the seed gets up and established. The only problem is that once the seed gets up and established and it's chitted and it's turned into a plant usually by about mid-autumn, the pigeons then will eat the leaves, and again you can have a crop that's decimated by them. And hares and rabbits and stuff, they'll also munch on the leaves as well, and obviously caterpillars and, you know, sort of stuff like that. It's genuinely usually a little bit too cold for aphids in the autumn, but if you do get a mild autumn, then, you know, they'll have a munch as well. But that's where in the autumn with canola especially, your spraying regime is very or campaign they call it, your spraying campaign. It's an absolute must that you keep well on top of it. The rapeseed, so that you don't lose the crop, the wheats and barley, so that you don't lose them to blackgrass, and then you get a little, I think it's about 2 months break. Well, it depends on the weather, but my experience was I used to get about 2 month break from spraying, and then in the spring I would be back at it again, usually around late February, mid-March, somewhere around there. The first lot of spray would have gone on for the new year, 'cause our years on the farm were counted from August. So at the end of harvest, the next crop that went in, that signified for that field the start of the new farming year. And by the time, as I say, depending on what was in the ground, you could be anywhere on sort of campaign, you know, T3 to T6 or something, you know. So vastly important that we keep on top of our spraying. We haven't got a lot of money. We haven't got a sprayer. It is a bit of an issue, especially when you're trying to keep on top of it. But we do need to keep on top of it, and we need to sort a sprayer out as quickly as possible, really. It could do with being sprayed, I think, in mid-autumn, and that could probably come in the form of a base fertilizer. So we put liquid fertilizer down, and then what we can do with that is in the springtime put a layer of solid fertilizer on the ground, and then we will we should have the ground covered. We haven't done any soil samples, mainly because I can't afford it. I can't afford to either pay for them to be done automatically or to buy the machine to get them done. So soil sampling for this year may have to, in a sense, take a backseat. But eventually we will be soil sampling. We will be taking the rocks and stones off the ground when we can get the machine to do that. At the moment, first year, basic equipment, money's a bit tight. We're still sort of buying things that we really need to start farming, so it is going to take a little bit of time, but we are getting there, and I'm happy with the progress that we're making. So this time next year, some of these fields probably will have been scanned. I would like to buy the machine if I could. Again, I realise it's a bit modern for sort of 1985/6 by the time we come to get it, but like I've said to you, yes, I want to keep it realistic, but at the same time it's a computer game, and there are some things that, in order for me to utilise all of the options and sort of systems available for the game, I do sometimes need to step away from sort of 1985/86 Britain's toys to actually get a bit of kit that helps me with a gameplay aspect. So that's why I will eventually do it, but I'm not going to do it this year just because we haven't got the money for the stone picker, we haven't got enough for the stone crusher, which obviously means then I'd have to buy lime, and I don't have enough for that, not really. I think we have about 20,000 in the bank at the moment, and it's it's tight at the minute. We're going to need seed, we're going to need fertilizer, we're going to need spray, we're going to need a lot of things, and so sort of having the field scanned is not really a priority at the moment. Hopefully now we've got enough cow feed to certainly last us until sort of mid to late spring of next year. I will be putting the grazing mod in, basically because the cows will eat the grass, and if we do run out of a little bit of food for a short period of time, then at least the cows will still be getting fed. And the game, because it recognises that they'll be, oh, I've missed a field of bales there, look. Because the game will recognise that they're being fed, then we will obviously get to keep their health, and we'll also get to keep any milk that they're producing. They're not producing milk at the moment, it's their first year, so I don't think they're going to be producing milk for maybe 18 months or so. I don't know what the criteria is. I have sort of very briefly read it and I can't really remember, but all we need to know is that eventually we're going to get milk. Eventually, when those cows start breeding, and then those young start getting mature and through the years, we'll be producing more milk with more young coming through, and so it will carry on until we fill the barn. Once we've filled the barn, then we'll start looking at culling so much of the barn, probably 30 or 40, maybe 50 cows, cull them, and then a year later the next lot that are due for culling can then be culled, and then we'll sort of try and keep it doing like that. That's what I'm aiming for anyway, but whether that does actually happen or not, I don't know, because I am one of these people that is apt at changing my mind. Very regular, as it happens. So you have to sort of, if I say something, you know, just sort of kind of think to yourself, those plans will probably change. The only plans that haven't changed are the ones with extending the yard on the silage pit side. That's still going to be pushed back to the hedge, and we're still going to have that as a concrete area that we can either expand on another silage pit, or we can expand in something else. So that's still going to happen. But yeah, it's sort of tricky in a way, I guess, to remember everything that you kind of think of, because like I record these videos in batches, just because it makes it easier. So I might say something in the first video, and by the time I've recorded like the 5th or 6th video, so then I'm on to like the 7th video, which would be like the first video or first recording of the next batch. I've forgotten what I said in the previous one, so I end up then sometimes not doing it, or doing it a different way to what I'd already said. But yeah, so I am apt at changing my mind quite quickly and very easily. So we have to just keep an eye on me and rein me in if I start going too mental. But it's so far so good, and that's all I can ask for. So I think this field and the other field, the one not 36, the big one, the other little one, the one that we combined, I think we combined that one first, they're coming canola. So this one and that one is coming canola, and then the big one, 36, that's coming soybeans, just purely because our bank balance needs a bit of a boost in cash, and it's a very good crop, a very profitable crop to grow. Although, to be fair, it's not going to be all that profitable for us this year, because we can't afford to do the precision farming, and so therefore we can't afford to do the liming and fertilising and everything else that we'll need doing. So for this year, yes, it's going to be sort of a good crop to have, a good rich crop to have. It's not going to be as rich as it could be once we start doing all of the precision farming stuff. So just a little sort of kind of pre-warning on that one. This tractor, honestly, keeps stopping, as you can see, but we also had this tractor in the workshop a little while ago. We had it in to replace 2 of the balls on the front equipment arms, hydraulic arms. So we've changed the bottom coupling. The pin itself was okay, the coupling was not. So we've finally achieved what we set out to do. So that's pretty good. Like I said to you, it's all going well. And we're getting across this field rather rapidly, which is a good thing. And as I say, this is the last field. We virtually have got this one done, or getting this one done. Once we have done, then that's ploughing it for this year. You've already seen, or you might not, no you haven't actually. I was going to say you've already seen the barley, but you haven't, not yet. So That was my pedals again. I would disconnect them, my pedals and my steering wheel, but the steering wheel, the buttons on the steering wheel do actually have key bindings, so I can't really get rid of them or get rid of it because not only do I use it, but the buttons are mapped on there, and there's nothing much I can do about it. So unfortunately, it has to stay. But it does mean that sometimes I am sort of sitting there doing things fairly sensible, and then my tractor just races off, and the brake is usually enough to stop it down again and sort of go again. But it does happen a lot when this tractor is hot. Not going to be too much longer now before we're done. There we go again. Oh, what happened there? And like I say, I think this steering wheel and pedals has got to be disconnected. I'm going to leave that in just because it's funny. But that was I've never had that before. Good job that wasn't real life, because we would have sheared off our plough shears. Or certainly snapped them off, but snap and shear are pretty much the same thing. So yeah, as I say, we'll get this ploughing done, and then as I say, next month on the game we're going to be doing we'll drill this. We need a power harrow and we need a seed drill. They're fairly, obviously, what can I say, necessary things to have on a farm. We also need a fertiliser spreader, and a sprayer wouldn't go amiss either. I might just buy the sprayer because the sprayer can do both. So you may as well have a sprayer that can do two jobs, as opposed to sort of buy a spreader and then you need to buy a sprayer as well. You may as well have the one machine that can do two things. Just makes more sense at the moment with our money situation. But I think this video has probably gone on long enough, and we've had a bit of a giggle in terms of the tractor going round and round around in a circle there, and then trying seemingly to carry on down the breed. But anyway, I'm gonna see you all next time, and I hope you've all enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get notified every time I drop a new video. I try to drop a video every day if I can. It's not always possible, but I do try. And yeah, keep watching, and I really appreciate it. Thanks very much. Bye.